Yeah, I really wanna fade away. Nothing really matters in the end when we fade away. Fade away, all night I will lie awake. I just wanna find a way to make you stay, to make you stay. I just wanna levitate, don't hesitate to make you wait. I just wanna fuck you till my bones and blood disintegrate. I just wanna touch you, feel your body right next to me. I just wanna love you, wanna fuck you, wanna levitate. Levitate, I'll levitate. No matter what life decides, it's gonna go my way. I'll levitate, all damn night I'll stay awake. Spill my fucking guts and everything I've got all on the pitch. Lost my best friend, fuck that, it's over. So many moments, never found their closure. Alone, lazy fucking stoner. Lately I've been thinking this was destined to be over. Yeah, fucking pussy, so sick listening to groaning. About damn time you man up to mistakes, about time you own them. I've been feeling lonesome, alone and so homesick. Driving home reflecting past 3 months, that shit was toxic. Yeah, I'll levitate. No matter what life decides, it's gonna go my way. I'll levitate, all damn night I'll stay awake. Spill my fucking guts and everything I've got all on the pitch.
There's been plenty of moments that I fell on hard times. More often than not, getting faded was my lifeline. I realized that I've always struggled with change, but sometimes you gotta rearrange before you go insane. I've been doing my best to stay true to myself, put my next foot forward and smoking dope for my health. I never give up the music till I'm rolling in wealth. Some days I swear this basement's my own personal hell. Well, I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. I confess I'm obsessed with the sex. Heart palpitations every time that she texts. I admit that we ain't always been the best for each other, but what is love without the little test? Girl, you know you're my sneaky link. When I'm with you, my ego shrink. I'm just craving time for us alone. I think about you every time I'm home smoking dope. I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you.
Happy Monday, everyone. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you had a good weekend. For those of you that didn't know, I couldn't stream last week. I was getting my my PC worked on. I put in a new GPU, CPU, I had a Windows update issue, so I had to take it to my IT guy, and he fixed everything. Now it runs great. I can actually stream other things other than charts. Just thought it'd be kind of fun to interact more if I streamed Apex or did whatever, but now I have that capability too. Regardless, so over the weekend, I've never seen so many people bullish in my life, euphoric, and I know most of these people didn't buy until now. A lot of people are getting in and over their heads and what they're getting into. We're pretty much rejecting a major resistance area. We're seeing a lot of exhaustion, seeing stocks literally pumping off air, seeing no one's like, so essentially you have whales are not accumulating. It's literally just an algo bot buying, and I can prove that with some very simple price and volume. I mean, look at this. If this isn't obvious in how an algo is pushing this up, I don't know what is. This is literally the same replicated pattern for the last about month. It's slow rise, get a nice pump, very, very low volume on the drop, continuing. I mean, it's it's a bot trading all of this. It's to bait people and use them as liquidity. I just looked at this briefly today, and it looked very inorganic. It didn't look human. It looked like a trading system or a algorithm. Bots are trading this, and we know that retail thinks that there's no recession. The government's lying to everybody, saying that there isn't going to be a recession. I still don't understand how they're getting away with this and why they're not being called out as much. Groceries are through the roof expensive. I will say gas is coming down quite a bit, but I think a lot of that's due to the lack of demand. You guys have to remember, our markets are driven by supply and demand, not by a fixed set price. So if there's less people that are demanding gas because it's too expensive, price has to come down in order to make sales. Regardless, let's take a look at the macro indexes here. So first things first, Dow Jones on an absolute tear. I'm not really convinced that this is completely bullish. It very well could be. We could continue going higher. It's really, really weird to me how we're in this really horrific macro environment and stocks are recovering and breaking resistances. Regardless, let's look strictly at the charts. If we look here, diagonal, I mean, yes, it is technically a breakout, or it looks like it's going to break out. My only issue is, and I cannot see volume on this time frame, I believe. I don't think there's volume on the Dow at all, so I can't see volume at all. We're not seeing institutional buying. A lot of institutions are putting their money into bonds, putting their money into safeguarded assets. That way they don't get hosed if the market crashes. So who's actually buying and pushing this price up? And could we see maybe some type of deviation before going back down? We saw that very same scenario in 2008. Going to take us back to 2008 here. This is a day. Let me go. Here's 2008. It looks like we did have some deviation. So initially we did break out here, and we actually deviated. We also broke out of a horizontal. Let's just make it straight for the course of things. That down just a little bit. So it looks like we did have a minor breakout here, maybe a diagonal deviation, and then just absolute tankage. Am I fully convinced that the market's back to a bullish environment? No, not really. I think the deviation is very, very likely. At least some kind of pullback, right? I mean, we essentially bounced 13% with no pullback. I mean, yes, if this is crypto, that's nothing, but this is an index stock worth, this is an index stock. It doesn't matter. This is an index stock. 13% is like a 50% gain in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin went up 50%, even if it was truly bullish, I would still expect some kind of pullback. But in the meantime, what's up, everybody? Sorry I missed the welcomes, but what's going on? Yes, sir. How's it going? Please comment also something about Michael Burry mega liquidation of Scion Portfolio. I saw that he sold, but I don't really care. I don't trade based off what everyone else is doing. I could care less if Michael Burry sells and he's wrong, then he just screwed over all the people that just listened to him. I don't trade based on what other people are doing. I could care less if what Warren Buffett does, what Michael Burry does, what Jim Cramer does, what Trader SC and XO are doing on Twitter. I don't care what any of those people are doing. I'm going to trade with my system and use my system. And that's what you should do. If you're trading based off what someone else is doing and you're making decisions based on what someone else is saying or doing, you're setting yourself up for failure. Exchanges don't buy spot, just futures. Investors selling stocks, so bullish. I don't. Exchanges don't buy spot. You realize as exchanges have to buy spot in order to offer futures and offer spot trading. Like, what are you talking about? Unless it's sarcastic. Stocks bottom though. Bitcoin one more low. Pick up ETH at 750. Area life-changing gains. Yeah, if you're living in the absolute world like you're doing right now, you're going to get absolutely destroyed. Whether you're right or wrong, don't live in absolute. Bitcoin is exhausted. I wonder if he's bullish or bearish. Shake my head. Well, I mean, if you could read, and maybe infer for yourself, instead of being handheld, you might be able to figure it out. S&P 500 rejecting that area of horizontal resistance and diagonal. And this is kind of why I disagree with the Dow having a true breakout. Until the S&P really breaks out and even breaks this blue level, I still think this is very possible deviation to go lower. From the bottom, we have volume drifting down. It's even more obvious on the daily and the 4-hour. I mean, you can clearly see that volume is drifting down. I believe even on the 4-hour, very obvious that from this retest here, we've been going up with very low volume, or at least drifting down, which does not support the overall uptrend. You'd like to see volume increasing as that trend continues higher. Even still, I'm still having a hard time believing that this isn't going to at least have a pullback before either breaking out and continuing its rise, or doing whatever. But honestly, in all honesty, we still have a head and shoulders. Here's our neckline. Here is a breakdown and retest, right? Huge breakdown and retest, but still very possible, right? Don't discredit that. Don't discount that. It's still a very, very likely scenario. Until the S&P really gets above this, maybe retests and continues, I wouldn't say this is bullish in the slightest. I'd still say that this isn't a macro downtrend. And for those of you that are new to the live stream, we have been calling for, now granted, I didn't think we'd get this high, but we were calling for some kind of relief rally here, at least to this golden line or this golden line. Regardless, it looks like we're getting our relief rally. We'll have to see in the next coming days if it continues or rejects. I believe 4,200 is that 4,300. Brain. 4,300 is also the 100 moving average, almost actually the 200 daily, and almost the 50 weekly. So lots of resistance here. If I was expecting a pullback, it would be here. Yes, 500 is getting close to the POC from the Rona dump to the all-time. I don't even know what half of that sentence means, dude. I don't use POC or whatever that shit's called. I think a lot of that, it just doesn't apply to my system. I'm not a day trader, so I don't really care for it. NASDAQ, even still, nice little relief rally. Will we continue to go lower? We don't know. It looks like a diagonal break, but realistically, until we get above this gold line, I wouldn't discount some deviation in here and then headed lower. I'd at least like to see some type of relief to the downside. There's no way you can have all this green in a row without some kind of relief. And aside from that, the S&P is still showing very low volume to the upside, or at least the last couple of days. The VIX, this is interesting. So although the government has changed, or the Federal Reserve government, whatever, has changed the definition of recession, this would be the first time in U.S. history that a recession, or at least the VIX, hasn't hit the 45 level. In my opinion, it's recession, right? We've literally had the prior definition, or hit the prior definition of recession. Then they changed it and said, no, we're not in recession. I find it very, very hard to believe that this is the first time in all of U.S. history that we've had a recession, or clearly the quickest recession ever, because markets are recovering. well, not only the quickest recession ever, but breaking macro standards and macro indications, data points that have been consistent with every single depression and recession. I find that very hard to believe. I do still think that this is a fake out. I still believe that every bit of upward movement right now is fake until proven otherwise. I'm still not convinced that this market is in a bullish state at all. It's retail FOMO that pumps lately, no volume. Well, you know what that means if it is. Do I have any recommended reading materials? I never read any sort of trading books. You're more than welcome to join my trading class. It actually starts in 15 days. I have no idea why the Streamlabs links aren't working. I'm gonna pull this up now. Really annoying. I thought they'd work. Let me pull them up so I can. Yeah, I have a trading class, starts in 15 days. There's a full syllabus posted. It'll last for 16 weeks or 4 months. Lots of good content, at least beginner, intermediate, and some advanced material. There are plenty of students that are in my Discord. You're more than welcome to reach out to them and ask for their opinion, ask if the class is worth it. Lots of prior students of mine have very much appreciated the class. I have no idea why these timers are. Let me try and fix it. Crazy how this thing. Should be working. We'll see, I guess. Man, that volume on S&P SPX is because the market is more active in the first and last hours. No, it's actually because no one's accumulating. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah, I'd love to have you. It's, my opinion, it's a great class. I'm the one that made it, so I'm obviously biased towards it. But a lot of other people have been asking to actually retake the class because they liked it so much the first time around. DXY. This is another reason why I have a hard time believing index stocks are back to a bull market. The DXY is incredibly bullish. Like all this is a slight pullback to retest an area of prior resistance, making it newfound support before continuing higher. This would be the first time in U.S. history that the stock market goes on a bull market tear while the DXY is in basically parabolic uptrend mode. I still, and with rate hikes without QT, or with QT, sorry. And yeah, it's kind of unbelievable how the market is still continuing higher with everything else going on. And it makes me wonder, is something holding this up, and what happens when it stops holding it up? Or are we being fed the wrong data and people are reacting a certain way to it? In my opinion, and you guys have to remember, if you're in my Discord watching live stream, you're on Twitter, you're surrounded by financial data all the time. So I wouldn't necessarily consider yourself full-blown retail. Although you are a retail investor to me is someone who doesn't do this every day, who doesn't look at a chart, who doesn't look at data, who doesn't do research, or I guess inexperienced retail is what we call them. So you can call yourself somewhat experienced retail. You're watching charts, reading up on things, taking notes, whatever. The inexperienced retail are like your friends that, they don't care. They don't care about this. They literally buy when they hear that Doge is up to 75 cents and it could go to $1. Or they buy stocks because the stock market's been on a 13-year uptrend and it's going to continue forever, or whatever Jim Cramer says. So for me, the retail investors that are when people are like, oh, well, everyone knows that we're in a bear market or everyone's bearish. No, not everyone's bearish. Like 90% of the people around me have no idea what's happening right now. They just know that things are going up in price and they think it's because of the war in the Ukraine, or whatever bullshit the government and the media is feeding them. They have no idea what's going on. Stocks bottomed. Yeah, I don't know how you can call stocks bottoming when the DXY is continuing its uptrend. But let's get into the total charts. Total looks like we're at resistance or near resistance here. I'm not going to go over total 2 and 3 today just because they look so funky, but it looks like we're in some sort of resistance channel, some kind of distributive. Again, very hard to read because there's these huge wicks here, huge wicks here. It's tough because you have all these altcoins that'll just randomly do whatever they want without anything. That's why we really focus a lot of TA on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's easier to read. It's not used as exit liquidity as much as altcoins. Like, you might have some altcoin that no one even has ever heard of, and it goes up 15x one day just because some whale dumped $1 million into it. Unfortunately, that's a case for a lot of altcoins. I'd say the majority of altcoins. So moving forward, let's talk about Tether. Tether dominance looks like we're holding support here still. One thing I am noting is we're somewhat seeing a descending wedge, and I want you guys to keep an eye on this descending wedge, which would be bullish if we break out. If this breaks to the upside, and let's go to Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin is actually in an ascending wedge. So I would say from here moving forward, this is an ascending wedge. So if Bitcoin breaks down, so we break through the 23,000 level, so we break through here, and Tether dominance breaks to the upside around the 6% level, crypto's most likely going to reverse and have a nice leg down. In my opinion, at least 20%. Whether we've bottomed or not, which there's a big possibility we could have bottomed. Bitcoin, you guys have to remember, zooming out, and let's completely zoom out here, because a lot of people get really confused by this. And it blows my mind away that people are saying that Bitcoin's going to drop another 75% from where it is currently bottomed at 17,500. Okay, you have people calling for 6K and 3K and even lower. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. The people that are saying that have never made money in this market. They probably barely have any experience. Like Crypto Savvy, who says Bitcoin's going to 3K. You know, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I sometimes I'll see a tweet of his, but it's always the same chart. It's always that Amazon chart. If you're expecting something to happen and you're not willing to be fluid and not willing to possibly change bias or have a plan if your current plan doesn't hit. So let's say Bitcoin bottomed at 17,500, but Savvy thinks it's going to be 3K and he wants to accumulate in the 3K area. Well, if we never get 3K, he never got the chance to accumulate, and he looks like an idiot in the next bull market. You guys know me; I'm very bullish in crypto long term, but I am not bullish right now. I still believe that there is at least one leg down. If not, we retest the lows. As soon as we start retesting, you know, the lows here between 18 and 19,000, I will be DCAing quite a bit. And when I say heavily DCAing or quite a bit, I mean like 1 to 2% a week. A lot of people don't understand how a DCA works. I would research it. It's similar to a 401k. I have, again, people are like, oh, you should never ever put like one big buy that you're willing to hold over multiple years. One, because you're probably not buying the bottom. There's 99% odds that you did not just buy the bottom. It's like the lottery. You're probably never going to win the lottery, just like you're probably never going to buy the bottom. But regardless, learn what a DCA is and use it. And when we retest these lows or break through the lows, begin DCAing. You guys, and a lot of people don't understand this. When you're in a bear market, when we are near the lows, which I fully believe we are at least one leg down or at least going to retest the lows, when we're at that point, that is when you start DCAing. Even if we hit Savvy's 3,000, I had all of this to accumulate, right? And let's say my average is 12,000. Let's say I average 12,000 and I have $100,000 in, and let's say we go to 100K. So, and just for the sake of an even number, let's say it's 10,000 average. Okay, so if I average at 10,000, I'm still making a 10x, right? And my only duty was buying 1 to 2% every week for the next year or two. You would be out of your fucking mind if you didn't do something like that. When, especially even if we don't hit 3K, let's say we bottomed here, we are 75% off the all-time high. If you are bullish on this asset, this is something you buy. You know, I'm just trying to give you you guys another perspective here. Although trading wise, I'm bearish right now. Long term wise, if you were a long term investor, this is a gold mine for you. When Bitcoin was down 75% in 2017, oops, excuse me. Let's talk about 70%. So when we were at 6K, if you began dollar cost averaging in 6K, yes, you would be down, 50% when we officially bottomed. But not only are you accumulating in this, you're accumulating at the 3K level. So let's say your average is 4,500. If you average 4,500 and we go into the next bull run, let's say 4,500. Let's say you sold where I sold at 53K. You made an 11x, and all you did was buy 1% a week. You didn't stare at a chart. You didn't, risk your whole portfolio. You weren't anxious or nervous. You were slowly adding to your position, and you got to buy lower than where you started. The whole point of a dollar cost average is to capitalize in the bear market, continuously buying lower and taking advantage of lower prices. That way, when it does reverse and we do have that bull market, you make a shit ton of money. That's the point. People that think, oh, I'm going to DCA the bottom. I'm going to catch the bottom and DCA the whole way up. You're an idiot, because you'll never be able to fulfill a full DCA account at the bottom. It's just not possible. Again, I've already discussed how buying the bottom every single time you buy is just not possible. 2, you'd be buying on the way up, right? You're buying on the way up. So now your average, instead of it being, between 18 and 12K maybe, now it's 12 to maybe 30K instead of, because, again, when we're in that accumulated phase, you want to buy on the bottom when we go sideways. That way you can capitalize that sideways movement. That lowers your overall average. That lowers your buying. When we start exploding to the upside and you're dollar cost averaging, your average is much higher, and therefore you're making less money. But aside from that, no one is going to be perfect. You're not going to get the buy the bottom, sell the top. So the odds are never in your favor for this, especially in any type of investing. So your best strategy here is dollar cost averaging. What is exit liquidity? Use Google. Use Google. Google is a great tool. But okay, so start of the video, we said that Bitcoin's exhausted. Why? Gonna point out a couple things to you guys. So if you know anything about my trading system, you've been following for quite a while. First of all, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 5 p.m. Eastern, around the time that this stream started. I think it was like 4:30, so or anywhere around 5. Just keep an eye out. We have a free Discord. If you join Discord, you get notified when the live stream starts. You also get to see the the videos that are posted on YouTube, but you can access them from Discord. It's just super convenient. There's a lot of different tools and things in the Discord, and it's completely free. Aside from that, let's talk about why this is exhausted. So a couple reasons. One, from bottom to top. So even from here, let's talk about this zone. We have volume going down as prices going up. For me, and we've seen this in the past, seen this many times in the past, this is an indication of bullish price action exhaustion or some type of upward exhaustion. Another big thing, and I'm just going to zoom out so you guys can see this very clearly. Every time we get a movement, it's just straight up. It's not this. This is down, right? We can see that this price is still going down. Price just goes up with decreasing volume the entire time. I know there's going to be that one person that comes in and says, oh, well, retail's expecting it to go down and then all this just because it's done everything that it's done for the last 9 months. That's not true. Most people in my Discord, in my on Twitter, and on even in my trading class are leaning bullish and looking to buy right now. We're currently seeing a monumental amount of bearishness on the 1-day, 12-hour, and 4-hour, which are the 3 time frames I mainly trade. So aside from price action, we're making higher highs in price, right? Well, we're actually making lower highs in momentum on MACD. That is divergence. We are making lower highs on RSI. Again, divergence. With MACD, it looks like we're about to roll over here. Again, another sign, MACD lines crossing isn't necessarily, a buy or a sell indication, but usually when you have other indicators showing some type of divergence or exhaustion or even accumulation, this cross is still very valuable. Let's take a look at moving averages. Moving averages. So it looks like we broke out of our 20, retested, and now we're kind of testing the 9 here. I'd be very surprised if this didn't break through the 20, possibly test the 50. We're also seeing an ascending wedge, which unfortunately the 50 is too low. So if we lose the 20, odds are we lose the wedge. Something to keep an eye on. With that, again, ascending wedge. We had tether dominance with a descending wedge here. Bitcoin with an ascending wedge. If Bitcoin has an ascending wedge, which is a bearish reversal pattern, and tether dominance has a descending wedge, a bullish reversal pattern, if both of those break out, so if essentially you have Bitcoin breaks down, tether dominance breaks up, again, another bearish indication for Bitcoin. These are patterns we're anticipating. It doesn't mean they'll play out, but something I'm looking for confluence, which again, if Tether is showing bullishness and Bitcoin is showing exhaustion and bearishness, there's a good chance that this will break down. Again, lots of wicks to the upside. It shows that there's some serious selling pressure pushing this down. Not to mention, over the last several weeks, some of the most volume we've seen has come from selling and pushing this down from 25K. So clearly 25K is an area of resistance. If we are going to continue higher, we need to see more volume. We need to see a big volume candle come in that trumps all of this in order to confirm that breakout. Let's look even further on the 12-hour. It's even more obvious here on the 12-hour. Your MACD just crossed. You have bearish divergences on RSI here. Not to mention the bearish price action. You have very, very low volume with price continuing to go up. Even here, you have very low volume, price continuing to go up. All signs of exhaustion. Now, some people will say, oh, well, we just keep continuing to go up. Okay, here's the thing with trading an exhausted asset. When it's clearly showing exhaustion or clearly showing weakness, why on earth are you risk buying? Yeah, yes, there's a chance we could go to 26K, 27K, of course. But why are you trading against something that looks exhausted, like looks like it's going to push down? Just doesn't make any sense to me. I had people last night saying, just long it. When we were here, they were saying, just long it, or even near 25K, just long it. It's clearly bullish. It's clearly going up. I woke up this morning and price was what? For almost 5% lower than where they were telling me to enter. Pretty crazy. And for me, a 5% loss is quite a bit of money. So I wasn't willing to buy. I was saying, no, this isn't, my whole entire system's bearish. I need more indications to buy other than price is moving up, but my entire system is bearish. That's not a reason to buy. Just because price is moving up doesn't mean, hey, you should buy this asset. No, that is never an indication to buy. Ever. In the history of anything, never. Why do I think altcoins won't hit their all-time high again? Because in historical context, they never have. The only ones that really have are Link and Ethereum. The trend has been trending upwards for the last 6 weeks. It's hard not to take advantage of that. Okay, zoom out. For the last 9 months, we've trended down. So your argument that even though this is a very, we're going up, this is a very short amount of time because for the last almost 10 months, we've been going down. So that argument that, oh, for 6 weeks, we've been going up, it's so strong. Okay, for 9 months, almost a full year, we've been going down. We have yet to make a higher high or a higher low on the macro trend, right? These little intra-trend things, these little sideways movements, these are intra-trends. These are basically you have a macro trend, your intra-trends. Your macro trend is down. These intra-trends allow for consolidation to reset your indicators so that you can continue your macro trend. You're out of your mind. You're literally out of your mind if you think that because we've had 6 weeks of upward movement, that negates the 9 months of strength to the downside. In and out quickly. Well, I'm not a day trader. If you're a day trader, then day trade this. But I hate day trading. I think it's the biggest waste of time in this market. And frankly, I don't want to stare at a chart all day. I have a life and better things to do. I've actually had a great last 2 weeks. I really haven't traded anything. I was able to like clean my whole house. I was able to go fishing with my grandfather. I was able to kind of rebuild my PC. I was able to do things instead of just staring at this. Guys, for the last 30 days, we have literally done nothing. Nothing. Price hasn't moved at all in the last almost 30 days. Okay, this was what, July 19th, July 20th. It's what, August 15th. Okay, so for the last 25 days, price has not moved at all. Okay, I'm a swing trader. I'm going to hold for, days to weeks to possibly months. I'm not an in and out trader. I don't care to day trade. This market's very very tricky with how it works for day trading. There's a lot of like your stops, your entries, it's all public, so they can easily liquidate you. I'm just not interested in day trading. Oh, last 6 weeks great for day trading, but yeah. But I'm not a day trader, so like for me, it's just not worth it. It's not worth trading. I mean, there was a nice opportunity with Ethereum, but I'll be honest, I kind of fell into the trap of I really thought we were going to break down. Excuse me. I really thought we were going to break down here on CPI day, considering that every CPI in the past, especially when they announced 9.1% inflation, the worst we've gotten so far, we've broken down. If you've been not living under a rock for the last 9 months, every CPI they've had, we've dumped significantly. So I figured, we'll probably dump again significantly. Fortunately, unfortunately, we didn't. I know some people ended up longing this and they made quite a bit of money. Congratulations. I just thought I was like, why would I take this trade when every single time we've had CPI, we've dumped. Unfortunately, missed out on that opportunity, but capitalized a little bit here and there on some of these, a little bit here. But other than that, really haven't been trading this range months. I just haven't seen. It's been very, very choppy. This isn't exactly a swing trader's like pot of gold. This is actually my worst nightmare. This big choppy upward movement that's essentially forming into an ascending wedge. So ultimately, for me, this is still very bearish. Let's look at the 4 hour. So 4 hour, realistically, until we break below 23.7, 23.6, even realistically breaking 23K, we really need to break 23K, possibly retest, and then continue lower for any lower leg to happen. Obviously, you guys have seen here that there's a lot of bearish divergence. We're clearly making, higher highs here with lower highs in RSI, and that was again another big indicator of bearishness for me. However, keep your head on a swivel. We could break 25K. If you're a day trader, maybe you long the breakout, close with 1% or 2% of profit, and move on. But for me, a lot of this has just been a bull trap. We had an inverted head and shoulders here that ended up dumping back through, pumping back up. So if you're shorting this, you could short the breakdown. A lot of people ended up being exit liquidity. We had a failed breakout here with the inverted head and shoulders. And then just lots of choppiness over the weekend and into the weekend. So for me, also every time we're seeing 25K get hit, we immediately shoot down. Immediately. So it makes me wonder, what is keeping this market up and why are they stopping it at 25K when 25K isn't even resistance? It's clearly 26.6. It'll be super interesting to see what happens in the next couple days. What I think is the better one to hold long term, Bitcoin and Ethereum. BNB is an altcoin that may or may not make it. And I'm pretty positive Binance is under investigation by the SEC. So in my opinion, Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum to Bitcoin real quick. This is really, really interesting because, for one, we have a very, very clear head and shoulders here. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out because you have descending volume here. You have each shoulder lined up pretty identical with each other here. And then obviously a clear head. This is a reversal pattern. For anyone that knows Head and Shoulders, usually once you break this neckline, or I would even think the neckline is somewhere between 0.58 and 0.54. But this is looking very Head and Shoulder like. Now, if it continues breaking out and breaks above 0.087, 0.088, excuse me, then we can legitimately call this a breakout. But for now, you have descending volume here, which is, in my opinion, very untrustworthy. I would not trust descending volume, especially with this huge divergence between these two peaks here, and even more so between the head and the right shoulder. Oh, thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I mean, for me, day trading this market, one, you're just putting unnecessary stress on yourself. Two, you make way more money swing trading. You just need to be patient. And three, guys, like I had trading students and people in Discord like watching a chart all weekend, and you're more than welcome to do that if that's how you want to spend your time. But go live your life. You have one life to live. And yes, you can make a ton of money trading. There's always going to be opportunities. When it's the weekend, the chart doesn't do anything. Like yesterday, and I'll give you this. Yesterday, my Bickett fees. So for all those of you that know, like yes, Bickett pays me from some of your trading fees. And yesterday was the lowest fee that I've received in the last 6 months, even from when I started, kind of advertising for Bickett and telling people to use them. So it was kind of I was kind of happy about that, but I also thought price isn't really doing anything, so no one's getting liquidated. No, pretty much moves that happened on the weekend are fake, and they're not it's not a real breakout. It's actually being used as liquidity. So in my opinion, guys, I think when it's the weekend, go live your life, give your brain a break, and then come back to the charts. That's what I've been doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been great. Is it true Michael Burry sold all of his stocks? I believe so. Ethereum futures, depending on the merge, fees will get pretty low if they got it successfully. I think the merge is just going to be exit liquidity. It's buy the rumor, sell the news. It's kind of unbelievable that people are still falling for the same traps they've been falling for quite a while. All right. I think I'm going to call it there. For those of you that don't know, I play Apex Legends pretty competitively. If you guys don't want me to stream it, I'll probably stream it anyways. You don't have to watch. But the chart live streams will be around the same time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 5 p.m. Eastern. However, I will, just for extra content, just for my purpose, because I don't work, I don't do anything, so I was like, why not? I thought I'd stream, maybe answer any crypto-related questions, or just give extra content, because this is a YouTube channel, right? And people enjoy entertainment content, whatever. So outside of charts, I was thinking about live streaming it. If you guys are into it, I'll continue to do so. If you don't, then I'll probably stop. But for all that said, guys, speaking back on Bickett, there is a trading competition in the next month. I believe there's a $50,000 cash prize, and you can win the new Samsung phone. If you're interested, there is a referral link in the chat and in the YouTube description. You get 15% off fees and up to a $4,000 deposit bonus. So with all that said, guys, please be patient, use risk management.